Sorry, I heard some of y'all didn't get the memo, so I'm here to just, reiterate it. These niggas are narcissists! Run! Run for your life! They're trying to take your light! It's fuel! They're vampires! They're fucking vampires! Run! Oh my god, the devil's in your house! Run!
The issue I think men are having with this Deante Kyle clip and clips similar to it, like I said before, it lacks nuance, but more than anything, I think it perpetuates a very self-destructive narrative, particularly in our community, right? Like I commented on that clip and said that, she sounds like a white woman in 1915 after Birth of a Nation dropped in theaters.
Birth of a Nation was just a profoundly important cultural event. Woodrow Wilson, the sitting president, had a private screening of Birth of a Nation in the White House. He calls it history written with lightning.
And every image you see of a black person is a demeaned, animal-like image. Cannibalistic, animalistic. The image of the African-American male.
There's a famous scene where a woman throws herself off a cliff rather than be raped by a black male criminal. In the film, you see black people being a threat to white women.
All the myths of black men as rapists was ultimately stemmed by the reality that the white political elite and the business establishment needed black bodies working.
Right? Because if you know about Birth of a Nation, it established the black male super predator narrative in the American imagination. And unfortunately, along the way, these white feminists and these white racists have recruited our women to champion that rhetoric, unknowingly champion that rhetoric, but champion it nonetheless. And I don't know if that young lady is being serious. I don't know whatever she's been through. Unfortunately, this is the established paradigm, the established cliche in our community amongst our women.
I know now how white people look at niggas. White people, I understand. Because I never thought I would be this nigga, but I see that towel, nigga nervous now. White people look at a nigga, they're gonna try something, hold your purse there, come on.
Not only is it harmful for our men and our boys in a white supremacist context, more than anything, I think it's demoralizing. A couple years ago, feminists were talking about aborting male babies, black male babies more specifically. We've heard clips from divestor channels who are a group of black women talking about how they are sexually aroused by black men being beaten by the police.
When I look at these white men, they are the epitome of masculine, and watching some of these police officers manhandle these black men in the street is very attractive, and it's a turn on, and I'm wondering, does anybody else feel like that?
Hold on.
Yes, Lord.
Y'all off the chain, okay? Y'all are off the proverbial chain.
That's Discord talk.
I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Discord talk.
I was like, why has nobody said that? Because I'm like, that's masculine. You talk about masculine.
We say that all the time in Discord, Tanasia.
You say that for the back.
Yeah, you have to save that one for the back room when we got the door closed. I can't with y'all.
We use the hard R for long.
Okay. Yeah, I'm talking about, we say the hard R so hard, it sounds like we growling back there around this bitch.
Now, on a, softer level, we see this rhetoric about decentering men. And I don't think we really consider how demoralizing that is to not just the male ego, but the black boy purpose and disposition. Because the reality that kind of permeates every single culture is men and boys are defined by their ability and their capacity to provide and protect for their women, right? Even the Honorable Minister Farrakhan talks about how you can kind of gauge the quality of a man by the woman next to him. So when you zoom out and you consider how our women publicly represent us, not just in their presentation, but also in their disposition and their representation of us, what do you think that tells young black boys? And I think this is a crucial part of what Deante Kyle missed. And in his articulation of women being validated in their concern for their safety when they are amongst men. He could have also taken the opportunity to acknowledge that some men, based on their experiences with their mothers, with their grandmothers, with their aunties, with the lady who violated them when he was 5, are also justified in their mistrust, in their disdain, or even their anger towards women.
I was married once before, okay? Mm-hmm. My husband and I had a child together. Right. Yeah. After I was tired of him beating me for 2 years, I left him.
Really? But why did you tolerate it for 2 years? Can you tell me why you tolerated being beaten for 2 years? I'd like to hear about this.
My answer to that is because I was young and stupid.
Okay, I agree with you.
There you go.
You were stupid. No doubt about it. And now what are you going to complain that he doesn't pay child support? A guy who beat you for 2 years? Imagine that. The guy is irresponsible.
Right.
He beat me for 2 years, and now that deadbeat doesn't pay.
So why is it my
There's your big concern. Now we see why you're so upset about this. You chose a manifestly irresponsible, violent individual to procreate with. Then you're amazed that the guy doesn't send you child support.
He didn't beat me until
you're still, you know what, dear? You were young and stupid. Now you're old and stupid. I mean, you're still stupid.
The intergender dynamic means that if our men are doing bad, our women are doing bad. If our women are doing bad, our men are doing bad. And unfortunately, we fail to acknowledge that we both participate and we both incentivize each other's dysfunction, right? It's just now that it's coming out where men and women are admitting that, listen, the reason I ended up in jail is because there was some girl in high school I was trying to impress. Not because she told me to be a gangster, but I observed with my 2 eyes the types of men that she responded to. So when we talk about men becoming degenerate without talking about part of the motivating force that perpetuates that degeneracy, we're not having a full conversation. I did a podcast a while back covering what's the kid's name? I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but this kid on Instagram went to a YouTube event because he's an influencer, and his mom was twerking on one of the other influencers, and he got upset and he started crying. And I talked about how the mother who was laughing at her crying son doesn't realize that she just mentally castrated him in that moment. Let's zoom out and just imagine how many men grew up watching different men come in and out of their mom's bedroom. How many men whose first experience with abuse was from their mom. It's only now that we're talking about men whose first experience with colorism, a thing that men are kind of exclusively blamed for, was with the woman. It was their auntie who kept calling them black as hell, or their mom who kept calling them black as hell. We can't keep irresponsibly perpetuating these anti-black male sentiments in an attempt to support women or protect black women, or all these ideals that we are superficially approaching. You can coddle somebody into self-destruction, and I think that's what we're doing.
Hey, if you've made it all the way to the end, please click that like and subscribe button. Also share this with somebody that you think would gain value from it. Click the thumbnail at the top if you want the full video. Click the thumbnail at the bottom if you want a video that's closely related to this. Again, like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you guys for watching. Check out some more of our content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.